Hello, welcome to HITC Sport. Right, nobody likes it when a player leaves their club. Most fans get offended and just assume it's for the money. But lads, sometimes these moves are actually justified. Let's take a look at what players won the most trophies since leaving your club. Oh, by the way lads, somehow up for an award. Football Content Awards voted best in video, whatever that means. If you like to vote and make me the first human being on the planet to ever win an award for ranting about Paul McShane, I just think it'd be funny. I'll leave the link in the description. Closing date is Thursday. You'd be absolute legends if you did. Right, let's go. Arsenal Ashley Cole. Alright lads, believe it or not, that Arsenal one-way winger Jose Antonio Reyes almost made it in here. God rest his soul. Since walking out of Highbury in 2006, this fella won a La Liga title at Real Madrid before stuffing his face with 5 Europa League medals. Yes, 5. But he doesn't quite make it. Instead, step forward Ashley Cole, who I think has justified quitting the club for Chelsea in 2006. In his 8 seasons at Stamford Bridge, he won a Premier League title, a League Cup, 4 FA Cups, a Champions League, a Europa League, and during that near decade, all Arsenal fans had to cheer about was one sad, lonely FA Cup, beating Hull City and Paul McShane in extra time. Good lord. Aston Villa James Milner. Well, if you leave Villa Park to spend 9 years of your life at Old Trafford, you'd probably expect to make the list, but no, Ashley Young doesn't even come close. I'm sorry, but just 1 league title in nearly a decade at Old Trafford? That is absolute pandamucus. Instead, it's James Milner. If you told this fella, when he was a 25-year-old midfielder stuck at Villa Park in 2010, that he'd go on to lift 2 league titles, an FA Cup, a League Cup, Community Shield, Champions League, Super Cup, and a Club World Cup, he'd probably have you committed. In his 8 years of professional football up until that point, he'd only ever lifted the Intertotal Cup, and that looks like something you'd print off the internet. Bournemouth Materazzi. Okay, loan deals don't count, so I'm not able to pick Rio Ferdinand or Asmir Begovic. Had Danny Ings just stayed 1 more year at Anfield, he'd be an easy Bournemouth pick, but no. Instead, I'm going to have to go with Materazzi. 1 championship winner's medal at Newcastle to show for his efforts in quitting the South Coast in 2016. It's not much, but it's more than anybody else. Christ well, when I'm having to pick a Newcastle player as the most decorated one for Bournemouth, that's when you know. Wright and Colin Kazim-Richards. Good old Colin Kazim-Richards, a fellow with the most bizarre CV. Born in East London, starting out at Bury before a year at Brighton in 2005, he's then gone on to play in Turkey, Greece, Holland, Scotland, Brazil and Mexico. What a weird career trajectory. Most Londoners who begin their careers at Bury end up working down the local post office. But this fella spent the last 10 years living out of a suitcase. Oh, and did I mention that he reached the Euro 2008 semi-final with Turkey, while the country of his birth spent that summer picking food out of their belly button. Anyway, he lifted 2 Turkish Super Cups with Fenerbahce, a Greek League title with Olympiacos, a Scottish Premier League title with Celtic, and a Brazilian Serie A with Corinthians. What a mental career. Burnley, Dimitris Papadopoulos. From the worldwide hype, you'd swear Kieran Trippier was a world champion with a trophy cabinet more stacked than Rebel Wilson's fridge, but the harsh reality is that since leaving Burnley, he's won the same number of trophies as my cat. Instead, I'm going to go with Dimitris Papadopoulos. Some 38-year-old Greek striker who spent 2 years at Burnley back in 2001. Well, since leaving Turf Moor, he won a Greek championship and Greek double with Panathinaikos in 2004, and then weirdly, Euro 2004 with Greece just 1 month later. Christ above lads, did that actually happen? He also won a Croatian league with Dynamo Zagreb in 2010. Chelsea, Arjen Robben. Lads, give it a few more years and the answer will probably be Kevin De Bruyne, but for now, Arjen Robben. Why did Chelsea ever let him leave after just 3 seasons? What, because they had Sean Wright Phillips? That's like throwing out your Lamborghini because you got a 3-wheel tractor in your shed. Since then, won a Liga title, 8 Bundesligas, 5 Pokal Cups, 5 Super Cups, a Champions League, a UEFA Super Cup. That fella could literally take a bat up to his chin in his medals. If SWP did that, he'd be sitting in an almost empty tub. Crystal Palace, Ian Wright. Yeah, there's only one winner here. Ian Wright, a man who started out at Crystal Palace in the mid-80s. Yeah, I think his decision to leave in 1992 was justified. At Arsenal, he lifted a Premier League title, 2 FA Cups, a League Cup, European Cup Winners' Cup, and how could I forget, an Intertotal Cup with West Ham in 1999. That's probably the only medal he's chucked in the bin. Actually, you don't even get a medal. Look at the state of that. Everton, Marco Materazzi. Yeah, you're probably all expecting Wayne Rooney to make this list, right? This fella could open a museum comprised of all his medals. I mean, the tour would only take about 3 minutes, but still, had he stayed at Goodison Park, he'd have retired a tortured artist. A bit like Alan Shearer, an undoubtedly world-class footballer, but his loyalty towards the boyhood club gave him a trophy cabinet that we laughed at Jimmy Traore's house. What's mental though, is that Rooney doesn't make the list. Marco Materazzi's 1 season at Goodison Park in 1998 was nothing special, and back then, when he was a 27-year-old bang average defender with not a single medal to show for his efforts, there was not a human being on the planet, not even his mother, who would have predicted this. At Inter Milan, 5 league titles, 4 Coppa Italias, 4 Super Cups, a Champions League, a FIFA Club World Cup, and finally, what separates him from Rooney, an actual World Cup medal. On the same night, he briefly became the most infamous man on the planet. Leicester and Conte. Alright, Neil Lennon will probably be hopping mad right now. When he wound up at Celtic Park in 2000, he won 5 league titles, 4 Scottish Cups and 2 Scottish League Cups. Not bad, but I'm sorry lads, I did not leave my brain on the coffee table. Yes, that's technically more piece of silverware than Kante, but I can't in all good conscience say that that is a better trophy haul than 1 Premier League title, 1 FA Cup, 1 Europa League, and a World Cup. No, I just can't. So yes, Kante is obviously the correct answer. Liverpool Javier Mascherano. Yeah, like it or not, Liverpool fans, there have been quite a few players who've left your club and gone on to bigger and better things. Definitely in terms of trophies. Look at the likes of Xabi Alonso and Luis Suarez. But nobody gets anywhere near Javier Mascherano. This guy left Liverpool in 2010 with the club on the verge of a Roy Hodgson meltdown. He clearly smelt the danger and thought no thanks, and went and won 5 La Liga titles with Barcelona, 5 Copa del Rey, 2 Champions Leagues, 2 Club World Cups. Just mental. Man City drone Boateng. Okay, special shout out to Scott Sinclair, who in 3 years in Scotland won every single domestic trophy up for grabs. That is literally perfect. But no, the answer is of course drone Boateng. Flung out of Manchester after just 1 year back in 2011, he's gone on to win 7 Bundesligas with Bayern Munich, 4 Pokal Cups, a Champions League, UEFA Super Cup, Club World Cup, oh yeah, and an actual World Cup with Germany. That makes Julian Lescott's career look about as impressive as a soggy cereal box. Man United Gerard Pique. Okay lads, this is close. Cristiano Ronaldo probably feels he should make this list. Since leaving England, he's won 3 league titles in 2 different countries, 4 Champions Leagues, and don't forget Euro 2016, but sorry lads, he doesn't quite make the cut. When Piqué was bullied out of English football back in 2008, after being smacked around by teams like Bolton, most assumed he'd end up like Martin Montoya, just some sticky stain on the Barcelona bench. Couldn't have been more wrong. Since leaving England, it's been 31 pieces of silverware, including 8 league titles, 3 Champions Leagues, 6 Copa del Rey, a World Cup, Euro 2012. It's one of the most impressive football CVs of all time. This guy couldn't get past Rio Ferdinand, and yet he's gone on to have twice the career. Newcastle Andy Cole. Lads, James Milner is so close to squeaking his way into this list for a second time. There's a perfect example of a man who drained every last fibre out of his career. What a hero. Gino Wijnaldum was also putting together a nice CV since escaping the Tyneside circus. And fair play, because a year under Steve McLaren is probably almost enough to force players to retire and become a Foot Locker salesman instead. Andy Cole is the answer though. After binning Newcastle from Man United in 1995, Geordies could not understand it. But after 5 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups and a Champions League, not forgetting that League Cup medal with Blackburn in 2002, they probably get it now. That's the sort of medal collection Alan Shearer deserved. Norwich Chris Sutton. Yeah, no contest here lads. Since quitting Norwich after bursting into life with a 28-goal season back in 93-94, Chris Sutton went on to lift the Premier League title at Blackburn 1 year later. Great stuff. But it's in Scotland where you almost drowned in trophies. 4 league titles with Celtic, 3 Scottish Cups and a League Cup. Not bad. Sheffield United Kyle Walker. Alright lads, this break has taught us that Kyle Walker is an absolute and utter bean. But hey, he's finally carrying out a CV that his skill set probably deserves. He left Sheffield United in 2009, but still went nearly a decade without even sniffing a trophy. He's doing well now though. 2 league titles with Man City, an FA Cup, 3 League Cups and 2 Community Shields. Southampton Gareth Bale. Absolutely no competition here. Don't get me wrong, there must have been a point where Gareth Bale worried for his career. 6 years after leaving boyhood Southampton, and he had just 1 League Cup medal to show for it. He's caught up now though. Out at Real Madrid there's been a league title, a Copa del Rey, 4 Champions Leagues, 2 Super Cups, 3 Club World Cups. Off from that, back when he was a teenage left back on the south coast of England, with ears that could rival the wings of a jumbo jet, he'd have ripped your arm clean off its socket. Tottenham, Luka Modric. Okay lads, we're tied here. Had he been able to overcome France in the 2018 World Cup final, then Luka Modric would stand head and shoulders above the rest as the most successful man since quitting Spurs. But as it is, he's tied with Bale, both of them lifting all those medals out of Spain together. Could have been different though. Modric almost moved heaven and earth to try and get a move to Chelsea back in 2011. I'd say he's pretty relieved that never happened. Watford, Ashley Young. Yes, Ashley Young finally wedges his way into this list. He left Watford back in 2007 when he was actually young, as opposed to a 34-year-old man who eats pigeon poo for lunch. He could and should have done better at Old Trafford, but still, a league title, FA Cup, League Cup, Community Shield and Europa League. For nearly a decade at one of the biggest football institutions on planet Earth, that is a pitiful return, but still, it puts most players to shame even still. West Ham Javier Mascherano. Okay, Frank Lampard is unlucky not to make this list, but it doesn't matter lad, you already have enough medals to shove down the throats of those West Ham fans who used to boo you and claim you're only in the team because your uncle was the manager, Christ above. Mascherano was similarly overlooked at West Ham, stuck to the bench to watch Hayden Mullins in his place every week. No wonder they were in a relegation battle. Since leaving, 5 La Liga titles with Barcelona, 5 Copa del Reys, 2 Champions Leagues, 2 UEFA Super Cups, 2 Club World Cups, oh yeah, and a gold medal at the Olympics with Argentina. But yes, Alan Pardew, I can see why you picked Mullins ahead of him. Christ above. Wolves Lee Griffiths. Okay, I just know Julian Lescott will probably get sick in his mouth looking at this. Since leaving Wolves, he's won 2 Premier League titles, an FA Cup and a League Cup, all with Man City. True, but Lee Griffiths won 7 league titles with Celtic. Yes, 7. 4 Scottish League Cups, 2 Scottish Cups. I know it's only Scotland, but still, how can I omit a fella who's literally lifted 13 pieces of silver with 1 club? It's simple, I can't. Anyway, that's the end of the video lads. Let me know in the comment section below if you agree with any of these. If you disagree with these, let me know. But if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.